What's up, poker people? My name's Wes, and this is my poker vlog. Today we've got a 5-5 no limit hold'em cash game session. It's at Prime Social in Houston, Texas. Hey, I actually run a game every Wednesday and Saturday at Prime. It's an uncapped 5-5 game if you want to come out and play with me. Prime also does run tournament series every once in a while. We just finished up a tournament that was a 1.5 million guaranteed tournament. There is another series coming up in early 2022. Follow Prime on Twitter so you can see when the next tournament series is. But for now, check out the vlog. In the very first hand of the vlog, we're going to start out with the fold, haha. But Josh wakes up with pocket kings. There was a $10 straddle in this hand. Josh is going to raise it up to $40. It's going to fold over to Will, who was the straddler for 10. He only has to call 30 more and he wants to see the flop. We've got two players going to the flop heads up. And Josh flops top set. King, queen, 5. He bets $35. It's over to Will. He seems interested. He actually check raises to 115. What 150? Okay, yeah. Josh trying to play cool, act like it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I just got check raised when I had top set and everything. Just chilling over here. While I'm practicing my TikTok dance, Josh goes with the flat call. Let's go to the turn. Turns to 10 of hearts, although the board does start to be a little coordinated. That would have just been a gut shot. It's really hard to believe that Will could have had Jack 9 or Ace Jack, but maybe he had two pair. Maybe he flopped King Queen. Will's going to keep betting, 275 on the turn. Josh has got to be happy, but he has to decide at some point, when is he going to raise? Does he want to do it on this street? He's going to wait till the river. He decides to just call. He's probably going to be trying to put in a big raise on the river if it's a nice, clean card. Let's see the river dealer. The rivers are 10, pairs the board. Josh has a full house now, and Will just keeps on betting. The bet is $750, almost a pot-sized bet by Will. And Josh is just drinking iced tea on his porch, watching his kids play in the front yard. Super chill, but he's gonna put Will all in. And Will has pocket 5s for bottom full house. Set over set on the flop. Drawn almost completely dead from the very beginning of this hand. Oh my god. Josh picks up a 5.6k pot. Okay, I promise I'm actually going to play this hand even though it looks like I just have 7-5 offsuit. I'm in the big blind and I'm going to complete the straddle because why the not? I do flop top pair on a deuce 4-5 board, but I'm not going to be able to keep top pair for long. This hand might be a little tricky to play if I don't improve. Josh bets 20 on the flop. I call, Brad calls. Going to the turn. 3 ways. Let's see if we can hit a 7 or 5. It's a king! Yay! I don't believe anybody wanted this king, but Josh is going to bet out again, $75. The action's over to Brad, and this card gave him an insane migraine headache. He's going to need to take some Tylenol, but first he's going to call. Now, I still have what was top pair on the flop, and it's unlikely that anybody called this flop and had a king in their hand. So I'm just going to continue calling. We're going to go 3 ways to the turn. Let's see if we can improve. 2 pair! Okay, well, I did river 2 pair, but not my 2 pair. I'm going to check over to Josh one more time. And Josh is going to bet pot $305. Now, this is a very polarizing bet, but I don't consider this board to really be all that polarizing. I'm going to make the call, and Josh says, Jack high! Don't try to bluff the calling station. Tyler's under the gun. He decides he wants to play this hand. Looks like he's going to raise. He's going to make it $40 to go, and I've got pocket 9s on his left. I decide I'm just going to flat call, go to the flop. Maybe I can flop a set, win a big hand. Let's see who else we pick up in this hand. Gonna pick up Brad and Garrett. Looks like Will wants to play too. When you're trying to flop a set, you don't care how many players are in the hand. The more, the merrier. No set for me. Let's see if Tyler's gonna c-bet this flop. Looks like he wants to. He's gonna bet 125. Now there's only one overcard to my pair. I'm gonna decide to see a turn card. I might have the best hand. Tyler could have hands like ace king, ace queen, king queen, ace jack. All those hands don't connect with this board. Now that Brad calls, it's gonna be harder for me to win this hand. And the turn is the jack of hearts. The board is starting to get a little bit coordinated now. And Tyler's gonna check. I'm just trying to get to showdown with my pocket pair at this point, so I decide to check. So we check it over to Brad. And Brad's gonna bet 250. I'm not really sure what to do with my pocket nines at this point. I wonder if Tyler's gonna stick around. He's thinking about something. Tyler decides to call, and I start thinking, is this a good spot to bluff? The pre-flop raiser stopped betting, gave up his aggression, and then only called. We checked it around to the button who bet on the button. He could have anything. Maybe this is actually a good spot to put in a check raise, represent that we have hearts, and then we got a backup plan because we do have one heart. If somebody calls, we could always hit a flush. We could always hit a 9 maybe. We're not dead in the water if they call. And Han cannot believe what he's seeing. I check raise to 775. Now, I didn't have to make it a big bet here. I'm not trying to bluff somebody off a big hand. I'm simply trying to get a hand that might be marginal, like one pair to fold. So it's over to Brad, and he has to decide what to do. Is his hand good enough to call a check raise against two players? I would assume if Brad had a hand like king queen with no heart, he would fold. But if he does have a big heart in his hand, he probably is going to continue. Let's see if we can get him off some sort of marginal hand. Nope. So this is not good, and this is the point where I start to panic. Brad makes the call, and we get Tyler to fold top pair of tens, which is what we were trying to do. The river is the ace of hearts. Interesting card, but I am worried that Brad may have continued with a single heart in his hand. But this is the backup plan we were talking about. I do now have a flush now that my bluff did not work. I check it over to Brad. Seems a little unsure about this river card. And Brad shows Jack 10 for two pair. A horrible bluff attempt being rewarded by the poker gods. Come play with me at Prime Social in Houston, Texas. Please like and subscribe to this video and turn on notifications. I'm trying to be internet famous. A $10 under the gun straddle starts his hand, and David's gonna raise it up to $35 with Queen 10 suited. Brad loves the suited 8 gapper, so he's gonna call. Garrett's got a real hand here, King Queen. He's probably thinking about 3-betting, and he decides he's just gonna call. I think that would have been a great spot to put a raise in. Tyler also with Queen 10 suited in the small blind. He's gonna call, and I'm getting out of the way. 4 players and all the queens accounted for. Everybody's just playing their kickers. David flops a queen high flush draw, but check it out. Brad's got the most equity, 41% with a pair of threes, and he can't probably even call a single bet. David checks his flush draw, which I think is a little weird. It's gonna check all the way around, and we're going to a turn. And David just turns his flush. David now has 83% equity, a hammerlock on this hand. Well, he's going to bet now. He bets 125. Garrett's the only player left in this hand with a spade, and he has the king of spades, the nut flush draw. Little does he know he's already up against a made flush. Is Garrett going to call? Garrett decides to raise to 375. I actually think this is the best way to play this hand. Calling with just the king of spades on an ace-high board, he might only be able to win this hand hitting a spade, so it's better off that he raises. But this isn't going to work because David already has a flush. David's going to raise it up to $1,000, and now Garrett's in a really awkward spot with just the king of spades. Garrett calls 1,000 with only about 1,000 behind. The river's a spade! Garrett makes the best hand. David's flush is no good. David just says all in. Yeah, I put them all in for 1,000. Garrett's going to win this 3.6K pot with just the king of spades. The poker gods love 17% equity bluffs. I'm going to put out the $50 straddle. We're going to go bigger in this hand. And David likes it. He looks down at pocket jacks. He sees the $50 straddle. He's going to raise it up to 125. He's going to fold around to Tyler. He was already in for 25. He's going to call with 8-6 suited. And I'm going to call with queen 9 of hearts. 3 ways to the flop. Ooh, I flop a 9. 9-7-3. Backdoor heart draw. Tyler's open-ended. We check it over to David, who's got the overpair. It's pretty easy c-bet for David here. 225. Tyler has to decide what to do with his straight draw. Those are not calling chips. Tyler raises to 650. That gets me off the hook. I'm out of there. It's over to David. David has to call 425 more. He does call, and we're going to the turn. Tyler is going to need to hit a 5 or a 10. The turn is the ace of clubs. No help for Tyler. He goes all in for 1.6K. It's over to David to make the call. David folds pocket jacks and Tyler wins with 8 high. If you guys do not already follow me on Twitter and Instagram, I ask that you do. I do post a lot of poker related content on both of those accounts. Stuff that I can't post on YouTube. Check it out. Brad's going to limp in with 7-6 suited, but Garrett's going to raise it up with 10-9 offsuit. It's going to get it around to Tyler in the cutoff, and he's going to re-raise. He's going to 3-bet to 150. Both Brad and Garrett call. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The flop, Jack 8-4. That gives Garrett an open-ended straight draw. Brad completely misses. He has nothing but a gut shot in this hand. They check it over to Tyler, who's in position. He's going to continuation bet $300. Brad gets out of the way with his gut shot, but Garrett's open-ended. Garrett needs a 7 or a queen. Oh, Brad would have hit his gut shot and had the absolute nuts, but that's a brick for Garrett. He checks it over to Tyler one more time. And now Tyler bets $850. Garrett has to call $850 with nothing but an open-ended straight draw. And he looks like he likes it. He says, let's go. Brick on the river. Garrett completely misses. He has 10 high, but it is the third diamond. It's up to Garrett. Does he want to bluff here? He decides to go all in. He's trying so hard to keep his head casually propped up on his fist while he puts all his chips in the middle. And it's over to Tyler. Can Tyler sniff this one out? Garrett only has 10 high. He is using that diamond on the river as a good bluff card. He could have diamonds in this spot. What's Tyler gonna do? Tyler makes the call. Garrett only has 10 high. Tyler shows an 8. He had 10-8. That's good. Is that good? I think that's good. I think an 8's good. Sure enough, that 8 is good to win the pot. 5.8K pot with one pair. Josh has put out the $25 under the gun re-straddle, and Garrett has reloaded, and he's going to raise it up to $75. I'm in the original straddle position with 7-8 suited. I'm going to call 75 to see the flop, as is Josh. 3 players going to the flop. On a flop of 7-5-4, I flop top pair. Garrett has bottom pair and an open ender, and Josh is actually double gutted. He could hit a 2 or a 6 to make a straight. Josh decides to fold his double gutter. It's over to Garrett. He's gonna call with his pair and open ender. Oh, the turn's a 7. That gives me trips. I am now blocking Garrett's top open-ended straight draw. If he hits an 8, I have a full house. He checks to me and I bet 255. Garrett goes all in. We agreed to just run it once because that's what I always do. Garrett only with 6% equity to win this hand. The river's a deuce, and I'm going to pick up the 1.4K pot with trip 7s. I'm on the button in this hand. I'm reaching for chips. I'm making $30 with pocket kings. Kings on the button. Josh has queen 9 suited in the small blind. He wants to see a flop. We're going heads up in this hand. Oh, there's a king. King, queen 4. Similar flop to the very first hand of the vlog. Josh checks. He has second pair. I make a small bet of $30. Josh calls. The turn is a jack, and Josh is going to bet into me. He decides to take the lead now that he turned a gut shot with his pair. Guess he's just trying to set his price, and he sets it at $75. But I want to keep this hand under my control. I'm going to make a small raise to 200 so that I can choose the sizing on the river. The river's a queen! I river top full house. The only hand that beats me is pocket queens. Actions on Josh. I'm assuming he's going to check to me, but instead, he decides to lead out again. He bets 375, and at this point, I can only assume he either has some crazy busted hand or he has a queen, maybe even queen jack in his hand. Although it's possible he could have queen jack, I decided to size my raise to a size that any queen could call. So I go with the traditional 3x raise to $1,200. Josh calls, and I'm going to win a 3K pot with pocket kings. And unfortunately, Josh got to see what it's like to be on the other side of a cooler this time. I ended the session up $2,000, a decent win. Thanks for watching the vlog. Be sure to check out my live streams every Wednesday and Saturday. We stream this entire game on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook on the Prime Social TX YouTube/Twitch channel. Check it out.